Hi everyone, Richard here from EcoStream. Today I want to show you how to put in a residential light commercial valve box. The first thing we have to do is dig up the valve box and dig up our main so we can actually do the installation. So we'll just dig up the main. We've actually dug up the main now, as you can see, and we're now just going to work out the size of our valve box and what hole we have to dig. Okay, so we're just going to put our valve box on our poly slab, and then we're just going to mark about 50 mm around the whole slab, just so we know where to cut it. And then this saves us digging too big a hole. It's still stable. The good thing about these poly slabs are they're really lightweight and they're easy to work with. So we've just marked that, so I'm just going to cut that now. Okay, so we've cut our slab to size now, so we're now just going to dig out this hole. So put this over here. I'll just work out what we've got to dig. So pretty much just round through there. Okay, I'll just now dig out this hole. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we've now dug the hole out. We've got our valve box base in, we've got our valve in, and we're just going to check it now for level. What we want is about 15-20 mm below the surface grade. Obviously, this is on a level site. If you're on a slope, you want to match it so it's with the slope. So if a slope's going down like that, we'll have the box on a slight angle like that, just so it blends in nicely with the slope. So I'll just check to see if this is level. I'm pretty sure it is. So it just comes up like that. Yep, so that's about 15-20 mm just below. That's fine. What we do now is we're going to actually hook the main, we're going to hook the valve into the main. Now, if you can see here, we've actually already put a tapping saddle on this main, just for ease of this demonstration, but I'll show you what we do now. Now what we have here is, this main's shallower, and it's actually on the side. So normally we'd come up vertically. If the main line's deep enough, we'll come straight up, then elbow across. Because this is slightly shallower, it's on the side, we've got another trick we can do. Okay, what we've made up here is a couple of 90 mm elbows on PVC, and what will happen here is, the good thing about this is, we can put that in our tapping saddle and we can adjust our height to suit the base of the box. So we'll just stick this in now, just get this in here. Okay, we'll just pretend that's been glued. There we have it. Okay, so normally we'd use a PVC pressure glue for that. That's in another one of our videos. But as you can see, by using the two 90 mm elbows, we've made a bit of an articulated riser with the PVC, and we can move that up and down to get our level straight through there. As I say, normally we come straight up and in, but depending on where the mains are, and sometimes we're using mains we haven't put in, this is how we get over this problem. Okay, so I'm just cutting out the notches at the base of the valve here, because once this valve is glued in, we still want to have access to the valve, so we can actually lift the valve box out. It's not going to be caught on the pipework. We've glued our valve in now, or pretended to. What we also want to do is just put some spacer underneath the valve assembly, just to keep the valve off the base, so we can get around it to service it and so forth. And it keeps it out of any water and anything else that might gather in the box. What we also do, which I haven't shown you here, we'd also normally put a little layer of gravel around there, just to get everything even. Because quite often you're not digging into sand. Most of the time you're not digging into sand. So we usually put just a bit of gravel, some porta minus, smooth it off. It gives the valve box a bit of drainage, and it makes it nice and easy to get level. Okay, so we've got our valve in now. So the next thing we have to do is get our conduits in for our wiring, which is here. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this conduit now so we can get our sweeps into the valve box. Okay, I've cut my conduit now, so what we're going to do, and this is the best way to do it, and we do have a separate video for running conduits and wiring into valve boxes, which you can watch, but we're going to use this flexible conduit here. It's a lot easier to manoeuvre around the valve box. So we're going to put those into there, that will go into there, and we're going to have this one come into here. But what we'll first do, we'll drill a hole into here so we can actually get the conduit up into the box, so it's still nice and flush. Okay, so I'm just going to drill a couple of holes now so we can get our conduit into the base of the box. So I'll just put one here. One here. Right, there, the holes are drilled. Now we're just going to get our flexible conduit up into the box itself. the other one. Okay, we've got our conduit coming up through the box now, ready for our wiring. So now what we can do, we can actually put the lid on and we can start to prep it for backfill. We've got our valve box now, so we place this back in there. Now remember, that's where the bolt hole is. The bolt hole always goes upstream and it points towards the main is. So if you're ever digging up and you see one of our EcoStream valve boxes and we're trying to get this sort of standardised, if you come to a valve box and you've got the bolt there, you know the main is on this side, okay? So that's sitting there now. We've got our spacers in there nicely. We've got plenty of room to work around the valve. We can turn this isolating ball valve on and off. There's plenty of room for that. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to put some geofabric on it. Okay, we're just going to trim these up so they're nice and neat. We don't want them flapping around everywhere. That's good. Now we can put our geofabric on. Okay, put our lid on. Got this geofab we're going to put around it. And we use this as a skirt. And what this skirt does, it stops the ingress of soil, sand, and anything other sort of foreign objects getting into the valve. So you just place that down there, push it around so it goes right around the base and the valve. Then I get some duct tape. I'm just going to wrap the duct tape around here. We've got our skirt on now. We're ready to backfill. But if you just come around here, Zach, I just want to show you something here on the main side of it. What we've got here, we've got this just sitting here in an open void. So we want to make sure that when we backfill this, we actually get the soil or the sand and really get it in underneath there and really tamp it down so when it's finally backfilled, it's actually supported underneath. It's not just sort of hanging loosely with soil that's fallen around it. This is very important because you can get a machine or something could drive over that. Could be a rock, hopefully not. Normally there isn't. But somebody could push down on that. It could actually snap that joint. So we always make sure any pipe work that's sort of hanging in the air, we pack around it and make sure that it's supported underneath. Okay, so just prior to the backfill, just want to make sure that our valve is still sitting nice and perpendicular, it's straight, and everything's looking good. We can open and close the ball valve nicely. We can easily get to the valve. It all looks good. So I'll put the lid on now, and then what we'll do, by standing on the valve, I'm just going to backfill now with a shovel and just pack it around evenly, and that way this makes the valve box, this stops the valve box from moving around. So when I've actually got it finally backfilled, I can open the valve lid again and I'll know that the valve is still sitting plumb and true where it should be. Okay, so as you can see, we've backfilled the valve box. Last thing we've got to do now is just put an identifying tag on it. So as you can see, we've made sure that this bolt hole here is upstream. Now normally, most of our clients don't need that bolt hole or the bolt in there, so what we do, we'll put our cow tag through that. We'll just write on this, we'll call this valve 23, and just for the cable tie, we just slip that in here, like so. Just cable tie that in. Okay. Seal that up, just clip that off. Now, if they do want a bolt in it, what we can do, we can easily just tie it onto the wiring that actually comes into the valve. So if you just want to come in here, Zach, just have a look at this. We can just take out our spacers and the job's done. And that's it. That's how we put in a residential, light commercial valve box. I'll see you next time.